Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. We're your hosts. I'm Sybil Amuti.
And I'm Brandis Daniel.
Happy holidays.
Holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
I see you in a cabaret right now. Like you're like stretched over a piano somewhere.
I am in a red sequins dress.
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh, we made it through Christmas.
Yes, we did.
It was such an awesome affair. It was so awesome.
Can you believe we're at the end of 2016?
No.
I cannot believe it.
This year zipped by, and I'm telling you, I feel like I was on jet skis all year.
I'm telling you. I mean, woo, this has been a year. I feel like I was on a roller coaster.
And the question is, do you like roller coasters? Do you like roller coasters? Then it was good.
You know what? I like roller coasters that don't have a dip.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You like carousels.
They do have roller coasters without dips.
Oh my gosh.
They do. They spin around in the air. I like those kind of
you
roller
like
coasters.
those, like the Orbitron and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, let me stay up high.
That is so funny. I feel like I turned into a grown woman this year.
Woo! What you say? Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. I feel like I did a lot of adulting this year. A whole lot of adulting.
A ton. Let me tell you. Yes.
I did. It was good adulting though. It was good.
It was good. I this year has, when I tell you, I mean, first of all, this is Sky's been here for a full on year. That in itself has just like, I'm like, okay, no, this is real.
Yeah.
Life is real.
Yeah, you did. You grew up this year too. You really did.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations. Welcome. Girlfriends, we hope you had the best Christmas you could ever have. I'm telling you, when I say we send you the warmest wishes and blessings from near and far, we really, really do. I mean,
we definitely do.
We're recording now just because we think of you so much. Because Lord knows my throat is dry. I'm slightly tired, but I'm so excited because I just feel like there's so much in store. I really do.
There is.
Yeah, there were a lot of shockers this year. I'm not going to play, but you know, it was a great year.
It was a really good year.
Before we get out, I gotta we haven't read an iTunes review in a while.
Oh, let's do it.
And I wanted to just read one of our fantastic reviews, just because I feel like you guys worked so hard to get us our reviews that we begged for them and we got them. We were
out here hustling. We were out here hustling for an iTunes review.
We were hustling for iTunes reviews. Like, review us, please. Review us. If you like us, review us. And you did it. And look, and now we're at 52. Won't he do it? This one came in and I was like, wow, this is really exceptional. It goes, I love the Great Girlfriends podcast. There's so much great information shared in this show, and I love the personal feel to it. Sometimes I feel like I'm just kicking it with two very awesome friends. There are episodes I listen to over and over again, like No More Shrinking. That's got to be my favorite, Brandis.
Wow.
It's Time to Take Flight, and the podcast on faith and networking because they are encouraging and loaded with useful content. I relate to Brandis and Sybil and God-conscious wives, mothers, and entrepreneurs. I'm an African-American Muslim woman writing to you all the way from Cairo, Egypt, and I'm so happy to be helping you reach your goals. Keep up the good work, ladies. Here's your 50th review.
Yay! Thank you!
That's so cool.
I want to come visit you in Cairo.
Seriously, Egypt is in the building. That makes me feel so special.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. All this twang over there in Egypt.
I love it.
I'm glad she can handle it. Thank you so much for that very fantastic review. When I say we are grateful, we really, really, really are.
We are. Thank you so much. You know, Sybil, I was looking through social media and Mitty.
Oh, yes.
Mitty put the best social media post up.
Did she?
Yes,
Oh,
you
thank
have to
you,
go check
Mitty.
this out. She put a photo of us on her Instagram.
Uh-huh.
And she has on here, please, I implore you, get into the Great Girlfriend. Brandis and Symbols are my favorite home office mates. Empowering entertainment. Thank you, ladies. Isn't that so cute?
That is
Mitty
so sweet.
I'm shouting her Instagram out as Mitty the Mogul on Instagram.
Oh, Mitty has been a day oneer.
She has. She has.
Thank you, Mitty. We love you. And she needs to be at our next mastermind. Speaking of which, if you haven't gotten your tickets for our next mastermind, January 7th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Yep.
in New York City, there are still a few tickets available. The one in December was so epic. We're still keeping our connection with the masterminders. We have some really great video clips from that event, and everyone walked away just feeling really empowered to get their businesses headed in the right direction. So if you're an entrepreneur, a businesswoman, a corpreneur, a mom trying to figure it out, a wife trying to figure it out, a college student, it's such a great idea for you to join this think tank exercise and get engaged with all of the women that will be there.
So I wrote this very long post for Facebook, which got deleted.
Oh, no.
So I don't know what happened to it.
That's crazy.
But in this post, I was saying, I think the awesome thing is that basically I'm able to take 10 years of entrepreneurship, lots of mistakes, lots of lessons, lots of successes. You're able to take all your years, almost 10 years too, of building a business from the ground up. I remember when you guys were in that apartment, to being in a huge office on Park Avenue, growing it into a multi-million-dollar business, and I'm like, we're able to take all the lessons we've learned through all these experiences and be able to pour them into these women.
Absolutely.
I think that's the most amazing thing ever. It makes me feel like everything I've been through was not in vain.
I know. I'm like, that was a useful moment. Somebody doesn't have to trip on that same hole in the concrete,
Exactly. And that's exactly what the mastermind was. I mean, after you've done this for so many years, what we've been doing and Simple doing brand strategy, which having her in the mastermind is a gift of its own. I mean, you're getting like coaching and strategy. And I think we brought all of that to the table in the last one. I think that's why it was just so incredible. And the women walked out with so much value.
Yeah. The other thing that we are continuing this week is the final panel from our What Women Want conference that was held in June of this year. We are so excited because the panelists on this panel, for one, we met them and it was kind of a love at first sight, I would say, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I feel like there's so much value behind seeing the women that we had on this panel go in from friendship into business, and watching how they've decided to make things bloom and helping them, listening to them share their successes and failures. And so many women are interested in exploring partnership. They're so scared. And will my friendship be compromised? And I just think it's such a really, really beautiful panel that closed out our conference this year.
Yeah, it absolutely was. I'm excited for the women to hear and really start to consider about doing more partnerships and more collaborations. They really are powerful. I have learned that lesson firsthand with the Great Girlfriends and partnering with my great girlfriend, Sybil Amuti, on this project. It's been amazing. You do need to partner with the right person, though.
That's right. That's right. If you just want wisdom around life and how to get what you want out of your friendships. So basically this panel was about how do you optimize your friendships, and optimization of friendship is exploring how many different levels can you go to. So this was so valuable for that specific reason. We had two sets of female entrepreneurs on the panel. The first one was Lady Savant Society, Brandon Coe Randolph and Mariel Alvarado, who are both in New Jersey. And I say fantastic women with superb energy that have built multiple businesses out of the one that they started.
And then we have Mimi and Tico, who were on the panel. and Mimi G and Tico, who were just absolutely incredible, and two powerhouses. Oh my God, they're both two powerhouses too. So to kind of just hear their wisdom and hear the things that they shared on the panel was so encouraging and inspiring and had us all fired up.
Absolutely. And so if you are alive and breathing right now, you need to make sure you save the date for What Women Want 2017, June 15th through 17th in NYC. I promise you, when I say we're going to have fun, like, you really got to trust us on this. If you trust this podcast, then you know you need to grab a girlfriend or two or three and come on out to New York for 3 days and just kick it with us.
Yes.
Until then, enjoy this episode, and we look forward to catching up later. Let's go ahead and get started. So this panel we titled Squad Goals because women are talking about their girl tribe and their squads and their crew and their village, and that's like been the consistent theme for women right now in social, but also in life, because honestly, you do want a crew of women that can hold you down. You know, and you don't want to have to swap them out. You want a loyal group of people that you can kind of, roll with. And sometimes you do have to, change people out as you need. But ideally, the people that are around you in your immediate circle, your closest proximity, give you the most influence, and they're providing you the most stimulation and the most growth. And so we have been privileged to meet two really amazing squads that we thought we would bring forward. And the first one, Brandon Coe-Randolph and Mariel Alvarado from Lady Savant. They are here. Looking amazing, by the way. We love them because Brandis and I had the privilege of going to one of their mastermind groups. And they hold mastermind groups all around New York. So if you're in New York, you need to sign up for one and definitely come and visit the Lady Savant Tribe. And if you don't know about masterminding, it's a great opportunity for you to get stimulated with like-minded people to learn more and get proximity to information that you might not have. They are fantastic because once we got their story, we're like, wow, they started very similar to how Brandis and I started, and they have a very similar mission to what we have and the same kind of heartbeat. And so we love what they're doing around New York and now globally. They took friendship to business, and we love them for that. And so we thought that was a great model.
But I was going to say, when we had the conversation with Burial.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
It's so funny because we went to this mastermind group and everybody was talking about the founders and they spoke so highly of them. We were like, we need to meet these. Who are these women?
Who are these ladies? Yeah.
And we got on the phone with Mario, right? And it was like we had been girlfriends forever. And so we actually spoke at their conference recently. And we were like, we have a question for you guys. We really want you at our conference. They were like, we want you at our conference. We're going to ask you the same thing. So we're so excited to have them. And our next squad, well, I love their story of how they met. Yeah. They met at an HFR event last year. But I love their story because when we did the podcast recording with Mimi, one of the things she said was that before Tico, she said she really was one of those people who were like, I don't really have female friends. And she said Tico like poured into her. She was like, she could not ignore what you were pouring into her. And so, the love that she was able to give was open Mimi up to relationships and friendships with other women. So, I mean, that's like their business story is just insane. But that's just who they are as people. So and after we had the episode with Mimi, we were thinking, Sybil and I we know exactly what the other one is thinking, but we were on Skype with her and Sybil and I were remote, so we couldn't really say it in front of her. But we were both thinking, we want them to be at the conference. And she was like, let me speak to Tico about it, but I think she's definitely gonna wanna do it. And they emailed us hours later and was like, we're flying from LA to New York to be at this conference.
Yes. That's amazing.
So please join me in welcoming Mimi and Tico. Well, Tico and Mimi.
Yes. Come on up.
They have a fabulous blog called Tico and Mimi. Please check it out. It's so amazing.
You put your shoes on? I put my shoes on. Look, we cute, but we got numb toes. I don't even feel my feet. I haven't felt my toe for the last 4 hours.
So, so one of the questions, actually, one of our great girlfriends asked. They were talking about friendships in business, and so I'm gonna start in. I'm gonna dive right in. How do you guys manage? Because a lot of us have really great girlfriends, right? And even sometimes you think, man, it would be nice to go into business with this great girlfriend, but what in the world is that going to do to our friendship, right? Because that's a different relationship when you enter a business relationship. How have you guys been able to manage your friendship in business?
You want to go? Yeah, that's exactly what I said when we did go into business. It was like, oh my gosh, you know, we first became best friends, and then, you know, we came up with this great business idea. And we, you know, I was really, and I, you know, of course you call your parents and like, Mom, I want to do this, and she was my backbone for it. And she said, and I was just like, Marielle, I'm just really nervous about doing this because we are so close. But, you know, I went with my gut. You know, we're all very intuitional, and I just went with my gut, and it's been the best decision I've ever made in my life. You know, and I think part of it is too that your morals and your values all have to be aligned. Yes. You know, you have to believe in each other, and you have to have the same connection with that. So
yeah, I think that's the most important thing. I think that I don't know if this is working, but I think that Brandon and I really connected. Have always been very connected at a soul level. So you know, we have the same beliefs. That core is the same, but we have very different personalities. So naturally, I'm very optimistic. I get along with everyone, so I'm like, of course we can work together. However, I did go into another business with another person at one point, and it was like catastrophic. So I've seen both sides, and I would say to everyone, you know, just be cautious about who you go into business with. And when you do decide to go into business with someone and it's your girlfriend, just make sure that you guys understand that you're human beings, that your relationship is strong, that you believe in the same things, and that you know that you're going to mess up and that it's part of the process.
Yeah.
I think when Tico and I met, it was like instant love, right? Like I think we have that generally when you meet a guy and you have that like flutter and you're like, oh my God, I know who's gonna call me. That's what we had when we met, right? I mean, it was butterflies. It was butterflies. And to what you said earlier, during the podcast, I did talk about, they asked me about that. And you know, for me, because of the way I grew up, you know, I'm a victim of sexual abuse and domestic violence. I was a teenage mom, a runaway. So I was always very guarded. I was always afraid to let people in and to like see me and know me. And then when I went from being Mimi Goodwin to Mimi G Style, then I noticed that the people coming in didn't always have good intentions.
Because so, they may not know, but Mimi is basically a celebrity blogger, right? I mean, I know you don't want to. It's okay. Yes. Dana, yes?
It got really,
listen,
really
Mimi, really quickly, so
yeah.
You know, when we put that flyer up in our group, a thread went on, OMG, can't wait to meet her, OMG, been wanting to meet her. So for those of you that don't know, just to give you the depth of the humility that is being displayed right now.
Yes. When I had said to them that the point for me when I realized that the issue wasn't that I couldn't have girlfriends because something was wrong with them. The issue was with me. So when women say, oh, I don't do girlfriends, the issue is I can't get along with women. The issue is not the other women. The issue is within you. And so when I realized that much further along in my adulthood, by the time I met Tico, I was open. So when she poured in, I was like, girl, I'm pouring back. Let's pour on. So one of the things that we know about our business together is that our friendship comes first. So at a certain point, our business starts to damage our relationship, then that business ends, right? And then the other thing is that we respect each other and our abilities. I mean, I trust her with everything, my life.
Right. What she said about the trust. So we have this other rule that if I can't trust you, see, okay, so here's this thing about women. We do this, that's my great girlfriend, but they don't even know your middle name. They don't know, like in other words, there's no, a real friend, I can leave her with my husband for a week and never question. See, some of you say, that's my good girlfriend, but I can't tell her what I'm thinking because she might take my idea, or so because she's my real, like she's like blood. So our similarities is that my mom grew up in foster homes, which means when the doctor says, do you know your family history? I'm thinking, yeah, if I knew the family, I could answer that, but I don't. And so in searching for what you call love and family, you know, you just want people who, and so with Mimi, she feels that. And with that, when we decided to do the business, it's something we love, and we already had our own business. Like, we don't go into business looking for it to be your everything. It's a part of us. And so we have like so many ideas, and so it's just a part of us. She's a piece of cloth to my big quilt. And so that's a wonderful thing, and she can't be replaced. You know, a quilt, like it has all these, she can't be replaced. And like she said, the business has to go. If something comes up, business, my kids already call you auntie, which means business has to go. But auntie, I don't let go of family because I don't have it. So when I get it, you don't get to go anywhere. But people and me, yeah, it was nice. Catch up on it's an archive. It's an archive of old posts. But yeah, so like she said, it's the trust issue. And if you can trust them in your real life, then I say, trust now. It has to be equality on the work ethics. You have to. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's our big thing. Like you better, now we both will put on the same hours. Don't call me before 10 in the morning. Don't call me after 10 p.m. But we put in the same work. I'm just up really early and she's, we have different schedules, but there's a respect and there's a mutual work ethic that goes with it.
The hardest thing to find in any relationship is to have somebody that's going to meet you, right? So that if you're constantly pulling somebody along, at a certain point, you're going to be like, man, I need to drop this load and I need to push on. And so that's one of the things that is most important is you absolutely have to have the same work ethic, and you have to be, you know, really, really exact on what it is that you want for yourself, for your business, and for the team, because that's, you know, we're a team, so we discuss everything that happens. And we're that way with everybody that we bring into our lives. Like Tiffany, for example, who when we met, it was like another instant love, because to meet another woman who will pour into you without wondering what your intention is, but to really just want to give to you.
Let's do that, try it.
Absolutely. So that's what we're constantly doing, is pouring into each other.
I love that. Oh, no, we can give a hand clap for that. So tell us, you know, from a business perspective, how you crafted a mission that fits both of your personal desires. Like, how are you able to do that? And then how does that play out in how you connect with other people from a business perspective?
Well, I think one of the good things about Tico is that we had our respective businesses, still do, right? So I run Mimi G Style, she runs Tico Nejon, and her business kind of fell into mine. So when we first met, it was just like, oh my God, I love you, we're gonna be besties. And then we discussed that too. And then she was like, I'm a branding strategist, and I was like, awesome, because I need some branding, so let's do this. And so that's how that started. And then we started to realize that maybe we could do something together, because you know, everything about Mimi G Style is about fashion and sewing and DIY. And I mean, she's like the most stylish person I know. Like, she gets dressed, and I'll be like, damn it, I gotta go change. You're too cute today. So our businesses eventually meshed by accident, because I asked her to speak at one of my events. I was touring, and we stayed in the same hotel, the same room. And I was like, so, you know, she's like, what are you going to wear? I said, what are you going to wear? She said, oh, I have these wide leg Zara pants. And I was like, oh, okay. I got some wide leg Zara pants I brought. And she was like, let me see. And then we had the same exact pair of pants. And she's like, I'm not going to change. I said, well, I ain't either.
That's how it started. That's literally how it started. Well, they were wide leg, like bright rust. They weren't like a pair of jeans. They were like,
very
I'm not
specific.
changing. I'm in Atlanta and I live in Atlanta. She's like, I'm not changing. We're walking out here with these big old pants.
So our styles are very different, right? So we love all the same things, but we style very differently. So we had on the same pants, but it would take you a second to really realize that we were wearing the same thing. And I thought, maybe this is a thing. Maybe we could teach other women how to wear the same piece in multiple ways. And then, you know, 6 months later, we were like,
700,000
it was like,
a month.
And it's worked out, you know, so.
Mariel and Brandon, same thing, because you started from the garage. Give them the story. Tell them.
It was a total accident, you know. We were both two stay-at-home moms. We both were in the corporate world and, you know, becoming new mommies. And I was going through kind of like a little depression, you know. It was when you have your kids at home, that's what you've always wanted to do. And then when you start doing it, you're like, okay, this isn't really what I want to do. was like the opposite. And I had no friends, and she was my neighbor, and so we were working out next. We happened to be at the gym together, and I'm like, hey, and she's like, hey. And my sister painted furniture for a living, and I just got off a trip with her, and she was so passionate about it, and I really missed that passion that we used to have. So I was like, if she can paint furniture and make it into a business, maybe I can. So I asked her if she wanted to join along, and we did, and we created our own painting business, and we would pick up furniture all off the street, and you know, off of Craigslist, and it was great. And we turned it into a business, and then that one business just kind of turned into another idea, and another idea. And that's why we say it always, our idea started in the garage. Yeah, literally.
Over a glass of wine
always
or
wine,
two.
Yeah. Escaping from the children, yeah.
And I think it's just really important that from the very beginning, I have to go back to the fact that we are, when you have a girlfriend, you're a real, true best friend. It's because you guys are so much alike and have similar vision and have similar goals and ethics and things like that. So from the very beginning, we just really knew what our intention with our business was. We didn't know how it was gonna, you know, take form. We weren't brand strategists. We weren't like, we didn't have all the brains that these ladies do, you know.
Before, yeah.
We didn't. I mean, I was an entrepreneur, you know, in my early 20s, and Brandon, you know, we had a lot of different experiences, but we just set our sight on something and said, you know what? This is our mission, and our mission is to bring women together and empower, and it's a particular type of woman. And even when we created our logo, we created strand by strand with intention. And so that's always been the core of our business, that initial vision. And then it's taken many different shapes, 5 different websites, 3 years.
We're working on a new one.
And it evolves, you know, but when you have a strong friendship and partnership, you can evolve. And if you don't have that, you will break right away. It's like a marriage. She's my she-wife.
Yeah.
I do have a question about that, because I know that you guys did take a few pivots in your business, and that you've had, if you can tell the ladies a little bit about that, and how did you manage the pivot as a unit?
Well, it's funny because Brandon and I are so like in each other's brain that we never like have to convince the other. Yeah. It's almost kind of like I say, you know what? Yeah. Like right now we're in the middle of one of those pivots, right? And a couple of weeks ago I said, Brandon, I think we should go in this direction. She's like, yep, and we'll do this and this. So like the conversation, of the pivotal conversation
never happens.
It's like 5 minutes and we're both on the same page, and you know, it's like one of us comes up with one idea and then the other one adds to it and just makes it bigger, better, badder. Yeah. So, but I think that we're just really, really blessed in that. I mean, I think it's not common to have that. But it should be, but it should be. That's the thing. It should be. It requires, I think, a lot of flexibility and open-mindedness, and not thinking with your ego all the time. So our brand is bigger than each one of us. It's, you know, it's a person. So it's like your children, right? You don't give up on your children. So you just. You're right.
So the panel before this was relationships.
I know, I can't believe I missed it.
And we talked a lot about kind of like what you look for in a relationship. But in this situation, you know, even with friends, there are very specific things that we're looking for in friendships, right? Like, what are some of the things that you guys look for in great girlfriends?
And with any, like, just...
A listening ear. You know, it's always, a lot of women love to talk. We love to talk. We love to tell each other what's going on. We love to moan. Yeah, you just need someone that's going to listen to get it all out. So I think that's what she does for me. So
that's what she does for me too. and listening is really just accepting all the bitching.
Just be quiet and listen. It's so important.
Someone that you can be yourself with. Yes. And that you don't have to, like, you know, that you can curse around. I mean,
and not judge. You know that she's having a bad day, and you let her have a bad day, and then it's all over, and then you're good. You know.
Yeah.
So that's the most.
For me, loyalty is really big.
you know, I'm a ride or die, and so if I'm your friend, I'm gonna be your friend, and you know, if I'm in a relationship with you, I'm gonna ride that mug until we broke on the ground, rolling around, cockeyed. Yeah. I'm that person. But finding somebody to be that for you is oftentimes difficult. So when I met Tico, I knew that she had that same kind of character about her. You know, she was like, look, we're not gonna give up on this. There's no giving up, you know, so we're gonna figure it out. And one of the things about us is that, you know, we respect each other's genius. So she's amazing at what she does. And I might know some branding just from my experience, but I would never try and do what she does. And vice versa. So in our businesses, you know, we know that we'll come to each other. I'll be like, all right, Tico, I got this idea. And she'll be like, no. And I'll be like, okay, next idea. That's not it? Okay, okay. And she knows not to come to me with an idea.
Wait, no. I have a new rule that I hold on to an idea until we finish the other one because she's an executor. Right. So here's what I love. You said, like you call it, there's the dreamer and dream catcher, like and I can cast the dream. She's gonna catch it.
Girl, I'm like,
no. And then this is what's bad. I told them we're launching Monday. Dude, it's Wednesday. We have no. So I have. Like, how did you tell them? But outside of that, she sees the brilliance and just being motivated, like to be around. Let me tell you something. That whole thing, no new friends, is so ridiculous. I heard Steve Harvey say, if I didn't make new friends, I would not be having lunch with this person.
Exactly.
All that no new. I want brilliant people around me
at all times.
I'm sorry, but the friends who didn't graduate, I might say, hey, on Facebook, but I'm not doing lunch. I need to maximize every minute of my day. Because here's the deal, and this goes back to what I heard some of you guys talking about. When someone says, how do you move? I don't see the young lady, but here's how I look at it, and we both. How do I have the audacity to stand before a God, you? How do you have the audacity to stand before God and say, you gave me this gift, I'm good, I'm gonna do me for now. Right. You have to move, I'm charged with this. Like, I don't have an option but to live this. So I only want friends who see like, hey, we got to move because I'm gonna have to answer for it today, tomorrow, what I did before. So because her drive, she's brilliant, and that's all I want around me is so I can, we want a legacy. I want my kids' kids to be like, did you know what my grandma did? Yeah. That's what I want. So you want to be around brilliant people, connect and give. Give. She was a client. I think she paid me like once.
I think maybe once.
And now several websites in, a gazillion flyers, tons of branding, tour dates, and all that. She covers dinner sometimes. But it's just poor. Just be willing to, don't work. Mimi G stuffed my gift bags for one of my events. And this is Mimi G. We're talking about over 1 million people. We're talking about we just did an interview with People Magazine yesterday, and you're stuffing my gift bag, my swag bags? Yeah. She gives. So you gotta just give. Don't worry about what you're gonna get. Give. Just give and give some more. And if they use it, that's their bad. You did what you were supposed to do. I'm done preaching.
No, you're not. And the church said, glory. So what do we make of this this new thing that people are doing where they look on social and they see a tribe and then they try to recreate it based off of what they see on social, right? So they see, they see women who have the capacity to go and travel the world or dress a certain way, and they set those exterior attributes as their goals, and these are our young girls. And I'm concerned that when they get to my age, our age, and when they're seasoned, a little salt and pepper, they won't have anyone around them of quality. So what kind of message can we share with them? Because I know we have women in the room who are in their early 20s and beyond, but also we have women in the room who've had friends since high school. And they've been friends since high school, so we've been friends since high school, girls, so we are friends. We had years together, right? But does that equal friendship? No, or does it equal to the proximity that you want to a person just because you've been
comfort.
It equals comfort.
Women, we want comfort.
There you
go. I'm sorry, I said I was done. But we want comfort, And
Right.
that's what that equates to.
Yeah.
And like I said, we're always looking for that. I mean, I heard it throughout all the panels, like some of the questions. We're always looking for that, like, what am I going to get? So what's this? Half the time, I just did a thing on living with intention. And half the time, you guys aren't moving on something because you're thinking, I'm supposed to write, but I need to figure out how I'm going to be a bestseller. How many books am I going to sell? Where's my first signing book? Write the book. If you give, what you're supposed to get is going to come. Like this, but most of y'all not moving, not because you don't know what you, like Tipsy, you know what you're supposed to be doing. You just ain't doing it because in your head, I don't know who's going to buy it. I don't know.
Look, that's one of the things that when we speak, when we're
You need
out.
to, honey. I heard you do that.
When we speak on the business of what we do and how to do it and how to grow it, you know, social media for me is huge because it runs my business. But at the same time, you know, my daughters see, you know, a blogger and they think, oh, I want to go do this because I want to get free clothes and I want to be cute and I want to take pictures every day, and they don't really realize the amount of work that goes beyond it. And I tell Tika all the time when we're somewhere, you know, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong damn room. So, you know, for me, when I'm around her, I get that feeling, you know, like I know she's smart, I know she's going to drive me. And so with social media, I think it's important for us to keep even our blog posts, like people know. When I get stopped on the street and people are like, Mimi G, and they hug and kiss me and they tell me that, you know, they love watching my blog posts or whatever. And then they say, you know, tell your kids, Chastity, I said hello, and Lexi. And I'd be like, wow, like you guys know my kids' names. That is really important. When I started my blog, it was a hobby. It was just something I liked doing. And, you know, after a certain amount of time, I started to get emails from women all around the world with really deep messages like, you know, I just lost my job. My husband just left me. I've been contemplating suicide. And I came across your blog, and something about it lifted my spirits, made me want to do more, try harder. And that's when I realized that my message was not teaching you how to sew, but to really give you something that made you feel good about yourself. And then that way, hoping that you would share that with somebody else. So I think that's what we try to do with our social media, hoping that that rubs off to other people. Because if you look at the superficial stuff, like, I don't look like this all the time. Okay? But I will post it on Instagram and be like, just woke up. I mean, it's real. That's the realness of, you know.
We'll say this. One of the things that we loved and respected was that when we had the chance to speak with you, you were the same person. And when we had a chance to meet you two, I mean, when I say heralded you in the mastermind, the women were just raving. Oh my God, they're amazing. Oh my God, oh my God. So we're like, who are they? And when we met you, we understood. So that honesty kind of bleeds through. And I think sometimes the bleed doesn't quite happen for a lot of people. There's like a lot of dishonesty happening on social. And that perception really damages what we're building on a quality level.
That we just have, like you said, you just have to be honest with your life is not perfect. Share some of those pictures of yourself when you're in sweatpants. Be vulnerable, because I feel like a lot of the newer generations, they are just they're being bombarded with everything that's so superficial, and they go after the gold before ever asking themselves, who am I? What do I love to do? And focusing on that part of life is going to give you everything else. But if you're going to focus on the end result and work backwards, well, that's just a recipe for destruction, really. So I think that as parents, we need to teach our children. Oh, my kids aren't going on social media in a long time, I promise you that. But you know, I have nieces and nephews, and you just have to tell them everything that you see on Facebook or Snapchat or whatever, it's not real. It's not all real. And people are only sharing the happy times.
They don't see the child or you go,
and the glamorous times.
They also don't realize that what you post lives there, right? So my oldest daughter is 22 and I have an 18-year-old. My 22-year-old is super shy, like posts like just a snapshot of herself. My 18-year-old though, I'd be like, Lord Jesus, Lexi, take that down right now. Take that down. It's gonna be on the internet forever, you know. So I think that, you know, we start to realize the impact that it has, and that they think because they see women posting themselves half naked on social media that that's a cool way to get popular, and that you're gonna become famous, but you're becoming famous and popular for all the wrong reasons.
Right.
And I just realized something. every woman on this panel is an entrepreneur and has children.
Yes.
You're
right.
So I want to talk about that because a lot of times there's a lot of moms in here that say, how I got something that I want to do, but how in the world do I balance my job that I'm doing that's paying the bills, this passion and this purpose that I know I have, and these kids, like, and this husband, if you're married. So like, how do I balance all of that, and how do I go after this dream? You keep telling me to go after this dream, but how in the world do I do that with all of these other responsibilities? What's your answer?
Well, just do it. Yeah, just do it, really.
To be honest,
There's
I don't
never
mean to
right
cut you
time.
off, but one of the things I hear so often is, you know, I don't have time to sew. I'd be like, how you ain't got time? If I got time to sew, you got time to sew. I run 3 businesses, I got 4 children. So, you know, but people don't realize that you have a whole lot of time. So sit down and write down, what do you do? How much time you spend on Facebook? How much time you spend on that phone gossiping with your girlfriend? How much time you spend watching Real Housewives? I watch it though, I'm not gonna lie. While I'm working while I'm watching. But there really is no balance. There's like no secret to be like, oh yeah, you have to do this. The real secret to mine is I have to do what makes me happy and what makes money for the family, and so the kids got to learn to. I'm not going to clean up your room. You need to clean up your room. Mommy has to work from this time to this time, so you go keep yourself busy. And, you know, I wake up, if I have to wake up earlier to work, I wake up earlier to work. I'm up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, sometimes getting it done. But it's what I love. It's my passion, right? And so to balance it, everybody in your family has to have an understanding. And if I'm putting food on the table, you're going to go take them kids out to the park, okay?
Having a good support system too. Yes. You know, you have to have that support system.
Yes.
I was going to ask, when you started your business, Mimi in particular, because you were a single mom, right? So how old were your children when you first started Mimi G Style?
So my oldest was 12 at the time, and this was before. So this, when I started initially blogging was in 2008, and I posted something, and then I'd be gone for like 6 months, and then I'd post again, and I was like, this ain't blogging, this is just foolishness. And so, but in 2012 is when I started Mimi G Style, and you know, I had my kids were still little. My oldest one might have been 16 at the time, my oldest one, and I remember I used to go to work, you know, 9 to 5, well, 9 to 7. And I was exhausted, and I hated my job, and I was always like frustrated, and I would come home literally like trying to figure out how to, you know, pay a bill, keep some gas or light, okay? We is top ramen or potatoes, like pick one. And I remember I would come home and I would go into the bathroom and I would close the door and I would literally have like nervous breakdowns. I would cry hysterically. And then I would like put myself together and go feed the kids. And I thought, man, I gotta do something. I got to do something that's going to get me out of this. And so I started the blog as a hobby. I just started because I needed something. I was like drowning in my own self. I was broke all the time. I was unhappy. I was sad. You know, I know the kids, you know, one of the most important moments in my life was maybe about 2 or 3 years. I was telling the story. My daughters were in the, oh, I'm going to cry.
It's okay. This is a crying room. Everybody in here have cried, I think, today.
I was telling the story, and my daughter at the end of it said, Mom, you know how many times I stood by that door and I listened to you cry? And I thought I was doing a good job hiding it. I was not. But that was a real important moment for me because I realized that I was doing it for me to keep my own sanity. And I didn't not just become a better person, but I become a better mother because the blog made me happy, it gave me joy. And when I started teaching and sharing what I was doing and I realized that people were responding to it, I thought, oh man, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. You know, I'm supposed to teach people how to do something. I don't know what the hell it is, but I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna figure it out, you know? And I would go to work and I would work all day and then I'd come home and I would blog, you know, and I'd blog on the weekends and I literally just tried to squeeze it in wherever I could, you know, until my second year of blogging, I woke up one day and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna quit. And I went to work and I was like, deuces.
For us, it's like we're sisters. I mean, when either one of us needs to take more this month or whatever, it's just like, okay, go for it. Like, we don't keep
You have an open conversation about everything.
Yes,
So
we don't.
you better quit spending.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
but
I mean,
it's,
we don't keep tabs. So, I mean, that's really hard to teach and replicate because you only have that when you're sisters, when you're family. So, but I mean, we're very, very conscious of everything, and we have systems and, that type of thing. But, I mean, I hate even saying that because it's not even something that you can easily replicate. But I do have a funny story with what you asked that you guys are going to think is so funny when she asked. I'm sorry, did that answer the question? Did you guys have anything else that you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Like, we don't really keep tabs. I mean, her husband is an accountant, so I don't really trip. Right? And I think, everything that we do, is always a 50-50 split. And we have our own, like I said, our own businesses, which really is the bulk of our initial income. So you should have multiple streams of revenue, ladies, okay? Multiples. So it's not like, we're depending solely on that. But when it comes to us, it's always, everything we do is split down the middle, no matter what it is. Or who brought it, or who thought about it, it doesn't matter.
And when she says 50-50, it means not 50-50 like you better come into, it's just everybody's responsibility. So it might be 50, like you might be paying for those hotel rooms, the next time, and then 50-50 just means we're in it, it's ours, we worked hard for it, but that's where that coming in balance with the same work ethic. Because then you won't feel like, well, you owe me because you only start thinking about that when you feel the other person's not pulling their weight. So.
What's your funny story?
Oh, my funny story? Okay, you asked how we met, or how we decided it was, for us, it was a ghost. Oh. So Brandon's house was haunted. I mean, so she lived 2 houses down from me. And no, this is a true story. She lived 2 houses down.
It actually is.
It was where she was. So she came to my house crying all the time, like, oh my God, the lights are going on, and da da da. And I was like, this girl's crazy, but I love her, so I'm gonna take my Bible over there, and I'm gonna pray with her through the house, and we're gonna get rid of this ghost. So.
And we did.
Yeah, we did.
I was about to call Ghostbusters.
You in Jesus' name.
That's right. It's gone.
It worked. For about 6 months and then comes back. But I moved from there.
That was the funny story.
I have a question. How is it that when it comes to our girlfriends, we treat them different than every other relationship? A guy doesn't have to do any of that with you. Like, you don't think, well, how do I let him in? He was cute, girl. You should see him. Look at his Instagram. I mean, like, I guess my question is, where do we become so... We want to be so independent and not self-sufficient. Independent means I don't need anybody to do it. Self-sufficient means I can pull my weight and you can pull yours. And so my question is, think about before you, like, what made you become so suspicious of everyone's intentions? And then really do some soul searching and ask yourself, is there something about me that's not been genuine? Somebody said earlier, was I really praying that person didn't get it for my own benefit? I mean, Michelle said that. Like, was I really hoping? I mean, listen, every Oprah needs a Gail, so while I'm doing my thing in the background, if this chick keeps moving, I'm going to carry your bags, let's go. It's that competition thing. You guys, that goes back to the thing. Organic too. Like, that dude didn't have to, it was organic. Like, I really don't like when people say, oh, well, I just still love your energy and we should do coffee. You've only seen my post and I post pretty damn good. So you like what I wrote, but we should, organic. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's something that clicks that becomes natural, but we do it with guys and then we somehow feel we're supposed to just go.
In business though, I mean, you have to have, at this point in my career, I will say that I have to have a vetting process, right? So Tico says this, but the first person, like, I hire an intern, she'd be like, she was in your closet, she's fired. I'd be like, okay, Tico.
I'm the veteran.
But because, I have this thing where my overall circle can be really big, right? But my inner circle is really small. And the bigger I get, the tighter my circle becomes. And it's not because I'm closing off to people, but it's because, unfortunately, when you become, a certain status, or you're doing a certain amount of thing, or you're publicly, visible, people try to come in for reasons that are not necessarily genuine, trying to get from you, So I had a friend who and this is right before, about a year before I met Tico, I had made a very good friend, and I thought that we were like, you know, ace boom. We was like together. And what I started to notice is that she would like post pictures of herself in my closet, and she'd be like, I'm in Mimi G's closet. And, girl, right? And then she was, and then she had to pick something up for me. She was like, I'm in Mimi G's car, and I was like, okay. So I started to realize that not everybody who was coming in my life at that point, because I was like, yeah, I love everybody. I had to like really like be like, okay, you know, what's going on? And so I've had a couple times where I've hired interns, you know, and it doesn't necessarily work out. People that, you know, in the beginning didn't want to collaborate with me right now are like, Mimi, please, you know, and I'm like, okay, let me see what you're about, you know, and if you have a good product or you're a blogger, whatever it is, I'm the first person to help. I'm the first person to be like, yeah, girl, I'll post you, I'll share it, I'll do whatever, you know, but you just have to be really careful, and it's okay, it's not that you're being suspicious all the time, because, I mean, we just tend to be that way, right? But sometimes it's okay to spend a little more time trying to figure out who it is that's coming at you and what it is that they want from you before you just open yourself up. You know, you have to be smart.
For now, she's just like, oh, I tell people, do you know who I roll with? That's nuts. I know her since before she started. And I'm just like, that's not going to
if you be organic about it, and if your gut, your instinct is telling you that something about it is manipulating, just go ahead and create the distance, and then let her prove her way back in if she needs to. But you don't have to, and you don't even have to think a long time on that kind of stuff. We got to be real quick on these things. Like, don't meditate on it. Just shut it down. Having said that, we got the zero, y'all. That means our time is up on the page. Thank you, ladies. Okay, girlfriends, so if you enjoyed this episode, then you know 2017's conference is going to be monumental. I'm so excited.
Yes, I cannot wait to see you guys. This year, the end of this year has already been just so incredible with the things that Sybil and I have come up with for the Great Girlfriends. And the conference next year, guys, when I tell you the way that we're thinking through this, it's going to be like no conference you've ever been to. We're really thinking through this in terms of how do women leave this conference with authentic relationships? How do women leave this conference with actionable things that they can do when they leave? Like, you will have a full book of steps that you're going to take after this event. So trust me, trust us. Yes. You're going to have a ball. It's going to be so much fun. You're going to meet so many amazing women, and you're going to get so much value from it.
Yes, and I got to say, I love our theme conference is building bridges and breaking barriers, which two major things. If we can do those as women, like if I can in my life break barriers and tear down walls and build bridges, do you not understand how connected my life will be?
Girl, yes.
Yes.
Change, powerful.
Yes.
Abundant.
Yes.
Lucrative.
Come on, girl. Come on.
All that.
So, and that's what we want for each one of you. So join us in New York, June 15th through 17th. I promise you, Brandis and I are so excited about it. We talk about it daily. We're preparing the right people to set the atmosphere on fire. And if you know anything about last year's event, you know this one will be sold out as well. So we look forward to seeing you there.
Yes, and then make sure, you guys, we actually still have our workbook for sale. So the Great Girlfriends workbook is for sale. This is actually going to walk you through all of 2017, have you reflect on 2016 so you could take the things that you did really, really well in 2016 into next year, and the things that some of the challenges and some of the missteps that we had. We're going to get rid of those and we kind of reevaluate and decide how we want to go into 2017.
That's right.
So the workbook is really amazing. We did it at a workshop that we held in New York a few weeks ago, and it's on sale. It's $9.99. We made it super affordable. It's absolutely beautiful. And you'll get it right to your mailbox. So the moment you order it, you'll get it right away.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, we love you. We love you. We love you. And we can't stop without thanking our husbands, of course.
Yes, absolutely. We're so grateful for them.
Yes, they are so fantastic.
Yeah.
Guys, we love you and we thank you for being amazing. Thank you so much, Kwaku.
And thank you, Rich.
Yes, and thank you to them babies. Sam and Dylan, I love you guys. Oh my goodness, Christmas was fantastic with you.
I know. I can't. Those pictures, Sybil, so cute.
They are yummy.
And to Miss Guy, who's now like almost full on walking.
Wow.
She's come to Memphis and she wants to show out. So I'm so grateful and thankful for her.
She's such a little boss. She's just handling it.
She is a serious boss.
Yes, just going for it. And thank you, girlfriends, for trusting us as your go-to source for everything life, love, and laughter. Make sure you listen every single Wednesday on iTunes, Stitcher, Blueberry Podcast, Republic Podcast, Bean, and every other podcasting service. If we're not there, let us know. We'd love to be there.
Absolutely. And then make sure you engage with us on social. Sybil and I are both super active. We have people who DM us and we hit you right back.
True.
So that's true story,
yep,
right?
We really do.
So make sure you engage with us. Sybil's personal Instagram is Sybil_Amuti, AMUTI. My personal Instagram is @BrandisDaniel. And then, of course, please follow us on Instagram.
The Great Girlfriends.
On Twitter.
_GreatGFS.
On Facebook.
The Great Girlfriends.
And be sure, okay, listen here, Great Girlfriends. We have a few days to reach our goal of 16,000 members in the Facebook group. And you guys actually kudos, hand claps. I wish we had a little clap machine because you've done a fantastic job of inviting your great girlfriends to the group. However, we're not at 16,000 yet, and we only have a few more days, and I know we can get this done. So every great girlfriend you know, it's a private group. You have to search The Great Girlfriends on Facebook. Ask to be added to that group if you're not already. And if you're already in the group, make sure you invite at least 25 great girlfriends.
That's easy. They can do that. Come on, y'all. We could do this. We could do this.
Easy.
I love it. Well, post your questions online. Share with your friends. Keep listening. And keep being a great girlfriend. I'm Sybil.
And I'm Brandis.
And we're signing off. Peace.
Bye, guys.
Bye.